This conference
I
will
can,
now be recorded.
so regarding the Linux, I can give you the pointers, like where you can, there are a lot of free articles you can go through and learn. Okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, okay. Yes.
But where basics, whatever is required, it will be covered in the DevOps. I mean, in this upcoming sessions. Once AWS, I think by another 2 weeks we will be completing. So the main fundamental module, which is VPC, we have covered. So today and tomorrow we will complete one more module, that is IAM, and after that EC2. So after that
Okay.
there won't be much important modules, like after that S3, then Route 53, then one mini project, like we'll learn how to create a static website in S3. Okay, so those
Okay,
things.
okay. Okay, sir.
Okay, anybody else? Anybody else having joined? Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Okay, so before we start IAM, so let us understand the basics of authentication, right? So how authentication works, isn't it? So let me take over the diagram here. So you might have noticed that if you try to log into any of the web applications like Gmail or anything, so the first thing you enter is your username and password, correct? And once you enter, so for every application this is mandatory. Okay, so that first step is called authentication. Okay, so what will happen, let us understand here. So think that this is an application, okay, or even laptop also. But for our use case, let us understand this is an application, right? So user will try to log in, okay, and he will feed his username and credential, right? So username, then username and password he will enter. Okay, so once he is entered, right, so in the backend, what this application will do, it will connect to the database. So where this user information will be written, I mean will be stored. Okay, so if this user, for example, I will enter like Mithun, username and password is something, okay, it does not get echoed, right? So due to some security constraint. So if this user details exist in the database, only then it will be passed and I'll be login inside the application. So this first step is known as authentication. Okay, so this first step is called as authentication, right? And after logging inside this application, so what all activities you can do? So for example, I logged into my Gmail or some Google Drive or some, you can think as a Facebook, right? So you will be only allowed to do certain things. So you can play with your account, but you will not be allowed to play with other accounts or other all the items. You will have only access to some quantity, right? So that is decided by the in application roles or application, what permission, what permission this application is giving to this user, Mithun. So that will come under authorization. So second step will be inside this. So the app will have the authorization, meaning once this user logged in, what he or she is capable of doing. So that is known as what? Authorization. Clear? Right? So now let us go back. See, if you enter any wrong password, right, it will say, it will fail at the first step itself. It will say username or password unknown. Okay, so let us understand this behavior with the simple concept. So let me log in. Okay, so first I will log out here. Okay, so now I am going to enter my user ID and password. Okay, so now see here, this is my user ID. And this will be my password. See, if now I will purposefully give a wrong password, I will add some more extra characters and I will enter. It will say unknown password. Okay, so sh46m4. Now you will notice that, see, authentication failed. It says your authentication information is incorrect. So this is very, very important. You have to remember this. Okay, so first step itself is failed here as per the diagram I have mentioned. Right? Now again, second time I will now try to give a exact password. Right? And now I am able to do. Right? So I am inside now. Now what and all I can do? I can do anything because I am the owner of this account. Why? Because I am the owner of the account. I can do anything and everything. But usually this will not be the case in all the organization. Okay. So there is one service called IAM, that is Identity Access Management, which is going to take care of the user credential and user data. So manage access to AWS resources. So how it happens is, in all the organization, the account owner will create an account with the AWS with his email ID and password. Okay, and that email ID and password, he will keep it confidential, and he will is going to create the users in this IAM console using the. So how will come to IAM console? Just searching the IAM service. So once he click on the IAM service, he will be launched, or you can say he will be redirected to this IAM console. Now here is, as you can see, this is the IAM dashboard. So you can see here there are already 3 user groups, 11 users, 15 roles, 1 policy, and 0 identity providers. Okay, so we will explore one by one, like what is meant by user groups, what is meant by users, what is roles and policy and everything. Okay, now from today onwards, nobody will be going to using nobody will log in using their email ID and password. Okay, so from today I will show you how you can create IAM user, and you have to start using IAM users only because of security constraints. Okay, if something happens to this, or if you lose the password, it will be very difficult, or if your credential gets misplaced, or if your credential is misused by some other individuals, it will be a blunder. He can do anything. Okay, so be careful guys with your AWS account credential. Don't share it with anyone. Okay, so there was a because there was an example like 6 months back, some the credential was compromised, and there was a bill of 70 to 80 lakhs to the AWS account. Okay, due to some hackers malicious activity. But later we raised the ticket, and all the bill were nullified, means we did not have to pay a single rupees. I mean, so that is doable. But why to risk our account? Okay, so people misuse these kind of accounts, and they can do Bitcoin mining and other stuff. So we should be very careful and restrict our access to our accounts, and we should not allow the sharing of passwords or anything. Okay, right? Okay, so now the first activity which we are going to do today is by deactivating the root account. Okay, see, deactivate or delete access keys. So I will explain what is access keys later. Okay, so first go to the users and create your first user. Okay, see here I have created so many users, right? So just click on add users, and I'll give the name as John. Okay, so he is a new joinee to the team. Okay, so this is how you are going to create user. Okay, so you can mention as John, or you can mention full name also. Okay, isn't it? Or some organization, they have a habit of taking some two to three characters from first name and last name. So for example, if the guy name is John Stacy, or John Maverick, so they will create the user as MA from the last name and JOHN, so Majon. So like that they will create. Okay, or if the username is Bob Morley, just think like this. Okay, so they will create like Marbo. So they will create a user like this. So this is called as the VPN ID. Why they use it? Because if they have to integrate the user with the VPN ID. Okay, so I will explain what you mean by VPN in a little later. Okay, so now in front of you, you see two type of access. So one is the programmatic access, and second one is the password. Okay, so for now we are going to click only with the password, that is management console access. Okay, so if you create this user with this option as ticked, or with this checkbox ticked, then this user will be able to access using the console. Okay, that is AWS management console. Okay, then auto generated password, well and fine, and then click on next permissions. Then, and I'm not adding the user to any group as of now. I want to show you how this works. So I'm not going to add this user to any group. I'm not going to copy the permission from any existing user. I'm not attaching the policy. I want to show you the first step, clearing the first step, and then failing at the second step, and then I will try to give this user access one by one. Okay, so now let us give tags are optional. If you want to create user based on the like department or anything, you can always do that. Okay, so otherwise it is not required. So click on next review, and you can say that I'm going to create the username as Marbo, and access type is AWS management console, and auto generated password. Okay, so the moment you create, right, so first policy is getting attached. So this is very important. See, in AWS console, policy is the decision maker for that user, in the sense what he or she is going to do once he or she log in inside the account. So this policy is the main thing. So to change the password also, they need some kind of a policy. Okay, so I will explain policy in detail. So now create user. Now what is happening is, in the backend it is creating a user with the information I have provided, and it has giving me the option. Okay, so you can send the email to the user. So this is how we do in a real time. So we create the user and we share the credential details to the user personally. We will not share the credential in any group. Okay, please be careful in this scenario. Okay, and we will download the CSV file like this. So the CSV file will be like this. So I will name it as Margo so that it becomes easier for me. So if you click on the details, okay, so it is still getting downloaded. So we'll wait. Okay, now let us see. So click on the CSV file. Why this is okay? It's already open here. Let me just check. Okay, it's open here. Yeah. So as you can see, it is showing the username and the password, and the secret access key is blank because I have not yet enabled. Now I can see it is giving me a console link. Okay, so let us use that now. Console link, and I'm going to open this in the incognito mode so that parallelly I can log into this console as well. Okay, so as you can see, if you have noticed, there is some difference in login screen now. Okay, now you are seeing an additional box with the account ID. Earlier it was used to only ask for example, if I go back to this option, it used to ask only root user and your email ID and password. But if you click on the IAM user, you have to pass the account ID, which will be 12 digits of the account, which will be here. Okay, it got exited here. Okay, no worry, we will log in again. Right, so I'm going to in again. And password. So how we are getting that details? So the account ID will be in the this thing. So let me show you. So this is your account ID. Okay, but we will not be able to remember this account ID. Okay, so if you observe here, now come back to the I will open one more thing here, just a second. Okay, now I will click on the console. Now if you observe here, IAM user, it will ask for the account ID. Okay, so now let me put the account ID. I will copy here. See, I'm going to click. I'm going to type the user as Marbo, and the password I'm going to pick from here, from the Excel. See now, see if you remember that we had given a IAM change user password policy, right? So by default it got attached to that user. So that because of that policy, now we will be able to change our password. So this is why, because to keep the password very confidential, so we are going to change the password. Okay, so I'm going to add 2 more characters so that in order to complete this section. Okay, so now we are seeing as marbo@3256 something, isn't it? So marbo@account ID it is showing. Okay, now let us go to the Canada region. Okay, but if you try to go inside any services or any VPC, you will getting some error. See, API error, API error. So he will not be able to see anything. If you go to VPC also, this will be the same thing. Right? But if I go back as a normal user, I mean that this user, if you observe here that I can see, if you go to the Canada region, now I will go to EC2 section. So it is showing me the everything, right? In the VPC also, there are security groups and other things, isn't it? I can see billing dashboard also, everything I can see. You can check on bills. See here. So everything I can see from here. But for this user, he cannot see anything. The reason is he doesn't have any permission to view. Okay. He does not have anything to watch or view. So how to give that permission? Now, one more thing I forgot to show you. 1 second. So go back to IAM. See, every time if this user has to log in, right? If you see here, either see, you can see some gpscanada.signin.aws.amazon.com. So let me maximize this. You can see here gpscanada.signin.aws.amazon.com/console. So this is replaced because for the account ID, see, I cannot remember 12-digit account ID. Okay, it will be highly difficult. Either I can see, so either I have to save this link or I need to replace the 12-digit account ID by some comfortable naming convention which I can remember very good. So for this, I have renamed as the GPS Canada. So if you observe here, go back to the IAM console. So how you can change that? So see here. So this is the on the right hand side. See, this is the AWS account, and this is the account ID, and you can create an account alias. So you can edit here, and remember this should be unique. Okay, so you cannot see. I have already taken the name GPS Canada, so nobody else will be able to use the same name because this is global. Please remember that IAM service is global. Like, see, last module VPC, it's a region entity, but whereas IAM is a global entity. So global entity in the sense that once you create user, so that user will be able to create any resources in any region, provided if he or she has the permission. If they don't have permission, they will not be able to see anything in any region. So that is the first thing. So what you can do for the first thing today, you can change as per your name. So you can change it to Mithun also, but that should not be taken by anybody else. So whatever you change, so that name dot sign in dot awsamazon.com. Okay, because the next time when you log in, right? So you can give. So now I am again signing in, signing out, and again while signing back, I will, rather than see, I don't want to remember the 12-digit account ID. So I'll just give GPS Canada and I will enter my username and password, and I will enter the password from here, and so as you can see, so now it is saying Marbo at GPS Canada. Okay, so is this clear up to IAM how we can create the account alias? Okay, so now I will try to go to the IAM console, but I will not be able to because this Marbo user does not have the permission to go there. Only the administrator of the account. See, it is clearly throwing me an error. So you don't have the permission required to perform this operation. So ask your administrator to add permission. Clear? See, everything is policy based here. Okay, so backend there will be a database which will be checking your policies, what permission you have. Okay, you can check here, you will not be able to see the VPC also. Let me show you. See, retry. Whereas if I come back as a root user and I can able to see VPC, everything I can see. See, there are 2 VPC in my account. So fair enough, isn't it? So I have 2 VPC I can see, but this user does not have. So how to give that? Okay, so by attaching the policy. Now I will come back to the diagram here. So this authorization, so he is now, this user is inside the application. So now the application is AWS console. Now because his username and password is correct, so I'm inside the user. Bob is inside now, but he does not have a permission. So how to give permission? By policy. Okay, so we will attach a policy to the user, right? So this will be the policy. Okay, so think that this is a policy. I will attach this policy to the user. In this case, I will attach one policy to the user, Bob Marbo, and then now see here how to attach a policy. First, okay, now he is a new joiner. I don't want to give full access. I just want him to see the environment. I'll just tell him, okay, just see what all you can make out and just feel the AWS environment, how many resources you have, everything. So how to give only, so I will think and then I will give only read-only access. So how to do that? So go back to IAM. Right? So go to IAM and click on the users and click on the user Marbo. And as you can see here, there is only one permission, this one, due to which he was able to change the password. Okay, so now first let us understand the structure of the policy. Okay, so in policy there will be 3 components. Okay, so you have to remember by the word EAR, EAR, that is effect, action and resource. Okay, so let me show you how you can check it. See, this is the structure of the policy. Okay, so this will be in the JSON format, right? See, you just need to remember what policy will give what permission. right? You don't need to coding and all. Okay, so all will be pre-written. Okay, now see here, as I told you, E, A and R. Okay, so effect, in the effect section, as you can see, there can be only two possibilities, either allow or reject, allow or deny. Okay, so in this case, allow, right? And action, what action I'm giving? Only IAM. So in IAM, what? Only change password, nothing else. Okay, fine. In IAM, change password for what resource? Resource in the sense on which user. So it says ARN. See, ARN means every AWS resources will have a resource number. ARN, that is AWS resource name or AWS resource number. Okay, and after that it says AWS and IAM. Okay, it means star, and for the user, AWS username. It means whoever the user is logging in, and that user will automatically get the policy. Okay, so IAM change password and IAM get account password policy. Okay, so as you can see here, that is very, very important. Okay, so now let us give the only read only access to this user, and then we'll discuss further. Okay, then let us go back and go back one more step. Yes, so click on add permissions. Okay, and now for now I am selecting only attach existing policy directly. So search for read only. Okay, so in that you have to select AWS EC2, because EC2 consists of EBS volumes, VPC, everything, meaning to read, to only view, if we needs view access. Okay, now before giving this, okay, first we will attach the policy and then we'll observe. Okay, so now I have given AWS EC2 read only access. Now see the JSON code. Now see here, affect is allow, again I am allowing, right? Then EC2 describe. So describe means in programming language it is describe, but in reality it means to view. Okay, then next, what is this? Next, allow. What action? Allow elastic load balancers. So he'll be able to see the view the elastic load balancer. Now again come down. Next, what is this effect? Allow action CloudWatch list metric. So you'll be able to see CloudWatch resources and other things. Okay, so EC2. So EC2 describe star means it has so many contents actually. Okay, now I will go back to this session where I was not able to say anything. Now I'll try to refresh this so that I'll get to see, right? Now, rather than read, I am able to see the contents. Okay, I am able to see the contents, but still I will not be able to see anything, because inside VPC also there are some things which is not covered by EC2 policy. Okay, if I go inside this one, there will be some items which will not be able to see. Okay, now if I try to edit and try to add something, I will not be able to do, because I have only read access. Just a second. Okay, now I'll try the charges. See, there was an error editing routes. All changes have been reverted, because you are not authorized to perform this operation. Encoded authorization failure message. So that is why. So all operations are dependent on the policies. So this user only has a wave access. Also, let me go to the EC2 section. And you can see earlier I was getting an API error. Now I can see how many instances are running. See? Clear? Okay, so now this was about the policy. Now we also understood the structure of the policy, that is effect, action and resource. Okay, now so we understood the structure of the policy also. Okay, so now next, imagine now another user also added, joined the company. Okay, again after 2 days one more employee joining. So like this you have to repeat the procedure. So again first you have to create the user, okay, by his first name and last name, and then what you have to do, you have to attach the policy. Now this is a time consuming, right? Because you already know, see, new joiners for the first 2 months they'll be given only read only access, because see, companies will be giving responsibility only when you start spending a lot of time, when you get experience, only then they will start giving you access, right? Isn't it? So first day itself they will not give. It will take some 2 weeks or 1 week, something like that. So one by one they will start giving you access. So once they get a sort of trust on you, right? But every time now think that you are an administrator. See, every time a new joiner joining you, so every time you have to create, attach a policy, right? Isn't it? Now, what is the another way? So the another way is you can create a group, okay, right? So you can create a group inside the IAM, and first you can attach the policy to the group itself, right? So think that grouping, okay, I have this Marbo user does not have a permission to IAM. So let me go back to the my root user. Okay, now this user is considered as a root user. Okay, so root user means he's a super user. He can do anything. So root user meaning until today you are logging in using with your email ID and password, right? So that user ID is known as a root user, and he is having the superpower. He can do anything. So from today onwards, you start creating a IAM user, and after that you have to log in using the IAM user, and you have to give policy based on what he wants to do. Okay, now coming back to the problem statement. So again I need to create user, and again I need to attach. So rather than that, I will create a something known as group. See, I have created here. So in organization also it will be same thing. Okay, in organization there will be various groups such as AWS admin, okay, who are all architects and all, they will have full access like administrator. So developers will be given developer access. So they will be added to AWS developers group. Then there will be network admin who will be taking care of only network related activity, right? So they will be added to the network admin groups, isn't it? Okay, so now I will create one more group called new joiners group. Okay, so let me click on create, and I will add new joiners. So I'm going to add this Marbo user, and which policy, because this is the first time I'm creating the group, right? So for now I need to create with the policy. Later also you can attach, that is not an issue. But so search for is read only, and you can give EC2 read only and create group. Okay, so now I have created new users, and you can see there is already a user one who is Marbo. Okay, now I'm going to, now my problem statement is having a solution. What? So rather than creating user, so you have to create user, that is mandatory. But rather than attaching the user with this policy, just go to the user section and create another user. For example, John, and just giving password access auto generated. Well and good. Next, add user to group. Just you have to do this and go to tags and review and create. So now he will add, along with the IAM user change, password change policy, he will also have now what? EC2 read only, because while creating I added him to the EC2 read only user. Okay. Now next thing is, okay, so now you understood, right? So now later on you can keep on adding more and more permission to the group. So once this group is edited, right? So by default, all the users who are inside the group or who are part of the group or who are member of the group, they will inherit the group permission. Okay, so this is the concept of users and groups, right? Okay, so next, now come back to the IAM console. Okay, now it is saying that it is giving you some warnings. So two security recommendation. So MFA. So today we are going to discuss on the multi-factor authentication. Okay, so which is very, very useful step. Okay, so why? See, earlier I'll give you a real use case. See, earlier I have seen this when we had, if you had a debit card and the pin, you should, you could have easily taken out money from any ATM card. But now that is not the scenario, right? So it will ask for as an additional OTP, one-time password, right? For any online transaction also it will ask for OTP. Why? Because of security. Many people have got cheated. So even in this case also, multi-factor authentication solves the problem of security breach. See, along with, see, what may happen that, so now two joiners have joined the company, that is Bob and John. Okay, so there might be issue that at some point of time, so John have seen Bob's passwords somewhere, because we will save the password in this only, right? So in some cases you might have forgot to unlock his laptop or something, so he can see this laptop like this, isn't it? Now I am recording this, so you may also try to log in with my credential, right? So how to avoid that? So there is a additional mechanism. Now come back to the diagram here. So along with this authentication, okay, so there is a additional concept called as MFA, that is multi-factor authentication, where an additional software you have to install to your mobile device. Okay, right? So this mobile device MFA will be inside your mobile. Okay, so have you ever heard of Google Authenticator? So for this demonstration, I am going to use the Google Authenticator, right? So this MFA, so you can think that this is a MFA. Okay, this is your mobile phone. So what will happen is, every time you try to connect to this AWS, right? So it will send the API token or the message, that is 6 digits token, every few seconds, like this. So it will be like 0 4 5 6 8 7, like this. It will be changing, constantly changing, right? So what is the benefit of this? So once the MFA is configured on your device, what will happen is, without this MFA token, you will not be able to allow, you will not be allowed inside the what? AWS console. I will show it to you in a live demonstration. Okay, now see, now I am able to easily log in because of the user ID and password. So let me sign out. I will show you. So how to configure MFA? I'm not going to configure MFA for the root user. Okay, so I'm going to configure MFA for Marbo. Okay, so click on the user Marbo. Click on the security credentials, and as you can see here, that is the console password. Okay, so if you want to change the console password, you can click on manage and change. Okay, and sorry, the next option is assigned MFA device. So currently it says not assigned, so you have to click on manage. So once you click on manage, right, so you have to click for virtual MFA device and click on continue next. Before coming to this step, you should have installed the Google Authenticator app. So what is that Google Authenticator? So now let us go there. Google. So this is how it will look like. Okay. So now let me try to install in my laptop. Okay. So let me go to the Play Store. I mean Microsoft Store, right? So here, as I'm using Windows 11, so here I have an option to install application, right? So now I'll search, go to the apps, and I'm going to use, okay, I can search here Google Authenticator. It is free of cost, so anybody can install. Where is that? I think it is not available for Windows. Windows
I
11.
think this is available only for mobile devices, Mithun.
Yeah, just right. Okay, so if it's not okay, it is adding to Brave. Now let us check if this works out. See, we'll get a token like this. Or else I will show you how you can until it is added. Okay, so I have installed another authenticator. So add your first account. Okay. So now scan the QR code. Okay. So this is of course it is not Google Authenticator, but you can use Google Authenticator. You can download from Play Store or App Store. Okay. So first I'm going to scan this code, right? Okay. So let me go there. Where is that? Yeah. Yeah. So if you scan this right, so see Marbo at GPS Canada, it's been added. Okay. Now it will start showing the, just a minute, yeah, here. Now if you click here, and click on Authenticator. See, it will show you the ad like this. So what was the first thing? 531426. So 531426, and then next you have to add. Okay, see, it will be there for few seconds and it will change. See, you have to add simultaneously two password. Okay, so it will expire and add the second one. So 046146. So 046146. Now assign MFA. Super. So now I have assigned a MFA token. Now just watch here. Now I will try to log in again with the same Marbo user. Account ID, I remember now. I don't need to remember a 12-digit ID. So username is Marbo and my password I can. Now even if someone steals my password, thinking that I have Authenticator installed in my mobile, so without my mobile he will not have access. Just see here. Now it will ask for the multi-factor authentication, which is available in this. So click on Authenticator. Now 36, it is expiring, so let us wait until it's 769865. 769865. So 769865. Yes. Why? Okay, my password was wrong. 1 second. Yeah. 769865, right? I think that expired. 1 minute. No. Let me just check. 173356. Okay. For this. Okay, it is saying it is out of sync. Maybe it is getting some issues. Maybe I need to open Authenticator in this console. Wait a minute. Or let us resync it again. Okay, so what is the first one? Okay, 830884. 830884. Okay, now it is 2020. Okay, so sometimes it may ask like this because we entered couple of times. Okay, see now this is how you configure a MFA, right? So best is you can install with the Google Authenticator, but the concept is same. You have to scan the QR code, and for the first time you have to enter the two things simultaneously, right? Okay, so you can do the same thing for root account also. Go back to the dashboard. Okay, so you can add the MFA to the root user also. It is always recommended. Okay, so activate MFA. Okay, so you can, so that will be an assignment for you guys. You can assign. Okay, but after that you should stop using root credential. You can always use the IAM user, and one by one you can do it. And one more thing I forgot to show you guys, that so now there is one more senior person joined. Okay, so like me, so he will be added to the AWS admin. Okay, so that permission is AWS administrator access. So this means this is the simplest policy in coding. See, this is the smallest policy because it allow and action is star star, means he can do anything. Resource he can do on every resource. Clear? So once you create your IAM user, right, so you have to attach this administrator policy, or what you can do, you have to go to the user groups and create a new group called AWS admin, like this, right? So AWS admin, isn't it? And you can change the password here. Now how to delete the user from that group? So go to that use admin, that group, and click on delete, and just type the okay. Groups also same thing, you can click on and this thing. Okay, and users also same way you can. So select, if you want to delete this user, see I have added him to AWS developers, right, and Abhishek has, so you can delete them like this. So just click on delete, so you can delete n number of users in one go. Okay, so this will be the activity, because in any organization, so n number of people will be joining and n number of people will be exiting the company. So it is the responsibility of the cloud engineer or a cloud administrator or AWS administrator to manage these users. Clear? Okay. So today we discussed user groups and users, right? Now there is one more thing, and policies also we discussed. Okay, isn't it? So I'm going to give you an assignment on policies today, right? But before that, let us have an understanding of what we mean by roles. Okay, so roles is a way of providing access to the AWS resources to talk to one another. Okay, so come back to the diagram here. See, now inside AWS, now this is, see, policy will define the permission set for human beings like us. But what about, so there will be a several resources, like there will be EC2. Okay, so there will be EC2 and there will be S3 bucket. See, S3 bucket is a simple storage service. For this demonstration, I'm going to take this example on, because this suits best in production also what we do. So there is a use case that I will explaining later. Okay, so what you do, in by default, this communication will not be allowed by default, meaning this server cannot talk to this S3 simple storage service by default. You need to give them permission. You need to give the permission to the EC2 instance to send or push logs to S3 bucket for the storage. So this is achieved by roles. Okay, and these roles can be provided in two methods. Okay, so the first method is by creating a role and attaching it to the EC2 instance. So that is the best method. Okay, so if you search for role, so what you can do, you can create that role. I'll use this. Okay, like a helmet. So this symbol means it is assuming that role. Okay, and that role will have again the in backend it will have policy only, IAM policy, but we will create that role so that we can attach that to EC2 instance. Okay, so like this there are several other scenarios also. So you can attach a role to a lambda function, you can attach a role to S3 buckets or EC2 instances or some other RDS instances. So there are very use cases. Okay, but for everything there is readily available policies. You can modify them or you can use the same thing, or you can create your custom policy also depending upon your requirement. Okay, but the major in most of the organization they are going to use like it has to send logs to S3 bucket. So in that scenario we will be doing, so we will be doing the hands-on tomorrow. Okay, so we'll first understand the problem statement. First we are going to create one server, then we'll create one simple storage service, and first we'll have one case study that one application is creating logs. It is writing logs on the disk every second and disk space is filling fast. So how do we avoid this situation? Either you have to increase the disk size every day. So that is not possible because the more you increase the size, the more you have to pay, but we don't want that. So but we need a cheaper storage solution. So that the best problem is we'll keep 1 day logs and the second day logs we will push to the S3 bucket. Okay, so this will be the scenario. Okay, so with this introduction I will just stop here. So if you guys have having any doubt, you can ask me. No doubts? Okay, then I'm going to stop the recording if there are no doubts.